Now, psychological development in early childhood. Erikson is a psychologist. He has given development of a mindset, how it develops, how mind develops scientifically over all lifespan, and how it develops in the different stages. What part of our mentality develops in a different stages, that is explained by Erikson in this theory. I have just summarized this theory in 8x4 columns. In fact, it is available on the Google. If you will search, the same picture will be available on the Google also. Now, through this, we have to understand development of a mindset of an individual right from infancy to till death. Now, I remember in previous session, I have explained you the first row, that is trust versus untrust. Not fully, but some part of it is developed. We'll discuss it in detail. Erikson has explained a psychological development of a human being as a stage model. There are many psychologists who has developed their module. Some have claimed that psychological development of a mind is continuous, and some have claimed that it is via stages. Erikson has claimed that the development of a mind occurs in stages, and 8 stages are given by the Erikson. Now, what is a key point in Erikson's theory? He said each stage is regarded as psychological crisis. Arousal and resolution of a demand. Hence, during the process, strength or weaknesses develop depending on parenting or surrounding approaches. Now, what is the meaning of the psychological crisis? In each stage of Erikson, he said that every stage an individual faces a new challenge. For example, if he is in a prenatal stage in the womb of the mother, his challenge is different. But as he takes the birth, immediately after birth, the first challenge is about hunger, thirst, and security, which is provided by mother. So during the infancy period, the first challenge is immediately after the birth is hunger, thirst, and security. But infancy stage till last by 2 years, and at the age of 2 years, 18 months to 2 years, the infant is facing a challenge of learning a language, walking on the own leg, expressing clearly in terms of the statements and phrases. Means communication is a challenge for a 2 years infant. So challenges changes from time to time, and challenges also changes from stages to stages. And each stage is considered as stage of various crises. And within the stage, there are different crises also. Now, 3 to 6 years of age, the next challenge comes to the infant that is going to school. So he has to go away from the family environment. So adjusting and adapting with the school environment, a new teacher, a new friend is itself a challenge. As he or she enters into adolescence age, the first challenge is of puberty. Female faces a challenge of menstruation, and male boys faces a challenge of growth, body growth, weight growth, muscle growth. So that is also a challenge to adolescents. As they enter into adulthood, successful education, career, job, business, these are the challenges. So what Ericson said, that each stage is regarded as a psychological crisis. It means every individual faces the challenges, and if that challenge is successfully cleared by the individual, then certain phenomena develops in the mind and it becomes the permanent part of the personality or the mindset of the person. How that we'll see in the module. The second point here I have written, arousal of conflict due to individual needs and development of strength or weaknesses are outcome of the crisis. Yes, Ericson called it as a crisis. I am saying that it is a challenge. If challenge or crisis is successfully involved, if challenge or the crisis is successfully resolved, then certain positive traits, certain positive characteristics will be developed in the mindset. Or if the challenge is not resolved properly, or if failure has occurred while facing the challenge, or while facing the satisfaction, while facing the need, if the individual failed to satisfy the need, then this failure will lead to development of a negative characteristics. Negative characteristics leads to weaknesses, and positive characteristics leads to strength of the individual. And it continuously takes place in every stages and within the stages also. Now we'll go into the depth of Ericson's theory first, and then we'll proceed further. Okay, it is given here only. I am not going into much details of the Ericson's theory, which is given descriptively. This is available in described form also. In fact, I have already narrated what is written in those descriptions. Now we'll understand Ericson's stage theory through this matrix. Now that day I have explained you infancy stage, and I said infancy stage period is up to 1 year, and the conflict is about the basic trust. For example, if hunger, thirst, and security is not appropriately received from the mother, then there are chances of development of a mistrust and loss of hope. this kind of weaknesses in the mindset of the person. But if this is handled properly by the mother, proper nutrition is given, proper shelter is given to the newly born infant, and for next 1 year also, then the trust characteristic will be a part of the mindset of the person, and the virtue which will set in mind, that virtue is hope. Virtue means gunadharma, उसको हम गुण बोलते हैं. That will be set in the mind of the person. Now in the adulthood, such person who has developed a trust character and hope as a virtue will always appreciate, he will always learn the theory of interdependence and relatedness while living the life. He will always understand that teacher is dependent on student and student is dependent on teacher. Student and teachers are interdependently related to each other. Student needs knowledge and teachers are masters in the knowledge which they have of their subject. So the responsibility of the teacher is to impart the knowledge, to give the knowledge, and the responsibility of the student is to learn the knowledge from the teacher. So this relationship will be well understood by the person who has developed trust, character, and hope virtue in the mindset. Same with boss and subordinate, same with employer and employee, same with businessman and customer, same with parent and children, same with amongst the peers also. Friendship is also need. Same with husband and wife. Same with friendship when it is done between opposite gender. So you can give n number of examples for the old age reflection of development of trust as a character and hope as a virtue. Now we'll proceed further. Early childhood is the period of 1 to 3 years, according to Ericson. Actually, as per our book, the early childhood is the period of 3 to 5 years. So don't confuse. 3 to 5 years is a generally recognized period of the early childhood. Whereas Ericson has called early childhood as the period of 1 to 3 years. So when it comes to write about the early childhood of in a Ericson theory, you have to write 1 to 3 years. And when it comes to write early childhood period, in general terminology, relatively infancy, childhood, adolescence, and adulthood period. So you will write early childhood as 3 to 5 years of age. So that much you have to keep in mind. Now here, what is the challenge? The challenge is about the autonomy. Means 1 to 3 years, a girl or boy seek more independence. As their hunger, thirst, and shelter is satisfied, they go away from the mother. They will not stick to mother. They will not stick to jhula in which they are put in. They will not stick to bed on which they have been kept. They will move from there. They will seek autonomy. They will seek independence. They want to move. If he is in, if the boy, the baby boy or the baby girl is on the bed, he wants to come down of the bed. And then wants to walk on the floor as adults are walking. He will try for it. And when he try for it, means that he receives, when he is trying for it, and if no hurdle is created by the parent or any member of the family, autonomy is attained. And the conflict or the challenge related to his independence is resolved. He should be allowed to walk well. He should be allowed to come down from the bed. He should be allowed to come out of the jhula. He should not be caught and binded or bounded in certain restricted area. He should be given the freedom. If given, then autonomy characteristics will be formed and developed in the mindset. If lot of hurdles is created, if he or she failed, sometimes failure can be occurred due to non-supportive sensory and physical organs. The legs are weak, the hands are weak, muscles are not strengthened, senses are not well developed, can't understand the touch, can't see properly. Normally it happens in case of mentally retarded children, or sometimes it happened in case of the ADHD or autistic children also. Physical weaknesses can be observed. So because the autonomy is not attended properly, the challenge is not resolved, the mindset will have a shame in the mind. And if autonomy is attended, the autonomy becomes the character of the personality. The will or the willpower will be the virtue which will be developed in the mindset. So development of willpower depends on the level of autonomy received to the baby boy or baby girl in the age of 1 to 3 years. What will be the implications in the old age? What will be the result in the old age? That is acceptance of life cycle from integration to disintegration. Means in the old age, the person who have resolved this stage successfully means acquired the characteristic of autonomy, and will is the virtue which is developed in the mindset. He will properly understand that the life, if the whole life will be accepted as integration to disintegration. Means at some point of time we integrate a lot of things together, it comes closer to, and later on for other reason it disintegrates. Now this is a very common phenomena. This phenomena can be observed in politics, in society, in political parties, in friendship, in classmates, in couple, amongst the friend, and amongst the peers also. So that is old age culmination, means old age implications, old age result of development of autonomy and will as the virtue. Now come to the next one, play age. The play age period is from 3 to 6 years. Here, the challenge is about initiative. This is the age when a baby boy or a baby girl take many types of initiative. You observe a boy or girl of 3 to 6 years of age. you will see that they play a game. They play a game of cooking at home. 3, 4 boys and girls of same age comes together. They play a game of Luka Chippy, hiding each other and searching. They also play game of husband, wife, kids. There are so many such games which is normally played by the boys and girls of this age. Now, in all these games, they need to take the initiative. They need to begin those games somewhere. And if their initiative is not killed by the parent, if the initiative is not, if initiative is properly supported by the parent, if parent is allowed to play such a game, hurdle is not created. Even in many cases, parents gives miniature of a kitchen. They make it available to the baby boy and baby girls of this age. And then they allow boys and girls to play the games, childhood games. If these games are played successfully, the challenge is resolved properly, the psychological characteristics, initiative will be the part of the mindset, and the purpose of life will be obtained. The purpose of life will be the part of the mindset of the person. In the old age, such people will develop sense of humor, empathy, resilience, humanity, wisdom, so many psychosocial characteristics in a normal course of life. Or if guilt is there in the mind, if the challenge is not resolved properly, and if the guilt is in the mind, the people will, in the old age, the adolescence or the adulthood age, they will lose the purpose of the life. Their normal statement is, क्या करना है जी के, खाना है, पीना है, सोना है, यही तो जिंदगी है, इससे ज्यादा क्या जिंदगी है। जिंदगी का मतलब जानवरों जैसी जिंदगी जीने का हो जाता है ऐसे लोगों का, अगर गिल्ट बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ गया तो। और वही अगर इनिशिएटिव उसके पर्सनालिटी का कैरेक्टर है, तो they can develop so many psychosocial characteristics by which they faces the challenge, they overcome with one challenge, and that they are ready to accept the new challenge. That way the life progression takes place. But its foundation, its beginning is at the age of 3 to 6 years of age, and that age is called as play age. Now school age. School age is also a very, very interesting factor in the life of an individual. The period given by Ericson is 6 to 12. In general, 6 to 12 is the period of middle childhood to early adolescence. Means there are 3 periods involved: middle childhood 5 to 7, late childhood 7 to 9, and early adolescence age, particularly teenage and puberty. That part is also included in school age, according to Ericson. Now, these 6 years are crucial from the point of view of development of industriousness or industrious character. Means the character of taking risk, the character of accepting responsibility, the character of doing some adventuresome activities. And if adventuresome activities, risky activities, some risk is taken by the children of this age, and if their actions and activities are successfully attended, then there will be no conflict in their mind. Because the challenge is resolved properly, they will become industrious. Many industrialists will have this kind of character. Particularly, industriousness of those boys and girls are very high. Those have faced family crisis, particularly financial crisis in the family, and they have taken some part of the responsibility of the family in an age of, say, 10 to 12 years, even sometimes at the age of 7 to 12 years. So as the beginning of the early adolescence age, if more responsibility is taken, such boys or girls will be risk takers in life. If you'll go through the life of our most of politicians, you will find that this early age was with lots of challenges, and they have successfully resolved with those challenges. Just day before yesterday, I was watching how the president of India, the outgoing president of India, has expressed his view on his childhood. He said, हम तो वो लोग हैं कि जिन्होंने कवेलू के घर में मट्टी के दीवालों के घरों में रहना सीखा है, हम वहां से बड़े हुए। सो मट्टी के घर में रहकर भी, कवेलू के घर में और गांव में रहकर भी खेती, नदी, नाले, फ्लड, इस प्रकार के अनेक प्रकार के चैलेंजेस को फेस करके भी उन्होंने अपने आप को, उन सब चैलेंजेस को उन्होंने सक्सेसफुली फेस किया और वो उस ऊंचाई तक पहुंचे। तो उसका बेसिक फाउंडेशन जो है, उसकी बेसिक नींव जो रखी गई है, वो इंडस्ट्रियस कैरेक्टर में है, जो उनके पर्सनालिटी का भाग रहा है। सो आप बहुत सारे पॉलिटिशियन में ये इंडस्ट्रियसनेस कैरेक्टर देखेंगे। इसका दूसरा पार्ट है इंफेरियरिटी। बहुत सारे इंटेलिजेंट ब्यूरोक्रेट्स में आप ये इंफेरियरिटी कैरेक्टर देखेंगे, क्योंकि ये बहुत सारे ब्यूरोक्रेट ब्रेन से तो बहुत इंटेलिजेंट होते हैं, उनका ब्रेन बहुत शार्प रहता है, लेकिन वो रिस्क टेकर नहीं रहते, इसलिए वो गवर्नमेंट की नौकरी करते हैं। इसलिए गवर्नमेंट की नौकरी उनको सबसे ज्यादा सेफ लगती है। वो अपने इंटेलिजेंस का इस्तेमाल करें तो वो बहुत बड़े बिजनेसमैन हो सकते हैं, वो बहुत बड़े पॉलिटिशियन हो सकते हैं, लेकिन वो वहां पर अपने ब्रेन को अलाउ नहीं करते, क्योंकि उनका बेसिक ट्रेट जो है वो इंफेरियरिटी का रहता है। कई आईएएस और आईपीएस और आईआरएस और ऑफिसर्स को मैंने देखा है, वो तो कई बार डिसीजन मेकिंग में पुअर होते हैं। तो वो इंटेलिजेंट थे, इसलिए उन्होंने आईएएस की एग्जाम पास कर ली और उस पोस्ट पर पहुंच गए, बट उस पोस्ट पर पहुंचने के बाद भी उनका नेचर कभी इंडस्ट्रियस नहीं रहा। उनका नेचर हमेशा इंफेरियरिटी से ग्रस्त रहा और कॉम्पिटेंस हमेशा लो रहा। ऐसा नहीं कि हर आईएएस ऐसा होता है, कुछ आईएएस ऑफिसर बहुत कॉम्पिटेंट होते हैं, वो अधिकारों की लड़ाई लड़ते हैं, वो लोगों के अधिकारों की लड़ाई लड़ते हैं, वो कानून को सबसे ज्यादा कीमत देते हैं, और कई पॉलिटिशियन की वो सुनते भी नहीं है अगर कानूनन वो गलत है तो। बट बहुत सारे पॉलिटिशियन, बहुत सारे ब्यूरोक्रेट ऐसे भी देखे गए हैं कि वो प्रेशर में, दबाव में, पर्टिकुलरली पॉलिटिशियन या मिनिस्टर्स के दबाव में गलत निर्णय लेते हैं। ऐसे लोगों का कॉम्पिटेंस लो होता है, इसलिए वो गलत निर्णय लेते हैं। तो इंफेरियरिटी और लो कॉम्पिटेंस, इट गोज टुगेदर। ये सिर्फ पॉलिटिक्स और ब्यूरोक्रेट्स में नहीं होता, बल्कि हम हमारे लाइफ के किसी भी हिस्से में इस प्रिंसिपल को लगा सकते हैं। इसका ओल्ड एज कल्मिनेशन क्या होता है? इसका ओल्ड एज implications क्या होता है, that is humility. अगर इंडस्ट्रियसनेस कैरेक्टर है और हाई कॉम्पिटेंस है तो ह्यूमिलिटी विल बी द रिजल्ट, मानवतावादी होना. एक्सेप्टेंस ऑफ द कोर्स ऑफ वंस लाइफ एंड अनफुलफिल्ड होप्स. एक्चुअली ऐसे लोगों में जो पूरी जिंदगी है उसको समझने की क्षमता रहती है और वो भी अच्छे से समझते हैं कि जो कुछ अधूरी चीजें हमारी छूट गई हैं उससे भी कैसे डील करना. जिनमें इंफेरियरिटी कैरेक्टर होता है और लो कॉम्पिटेंस होता है वो अधूरी छूटी हुई चीजों पर ज्यादा ध्यान देते हैं और अपने आप को और इंफेरियर करते हैं ओल्ड एज में. बट इसकी फाउंडेशन जो है वो स्कूल एज में होती है. स्कूल एज में इसकी नींव रखी जाती है. बल्कि हमारे एजुकेशन सिस्टम का ये बहुत बड़ा अहम हिस्सा है कि 6 से 12 के पीरियड में बच्चों में इंडस्ट्रियसनेस कैरेक्टर को विकसित करना और उनके कॉम्पिटेंस को बढ़ाना. लेकिन अनफॉर्चुनेटली हमारी स्कूल नॉलेज देने की शाखाएं बन गई हैं. कॉम्पिटेंस कितना स्कूलों में बढ़ाया जाता है बच्चों का और कितना इंडस्ट्रियसनेस स्कूलों में बढ़ाया जाता है ये रिसर्च का विषय है. हाँ, एक अच्छा इनिशिएटिव दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट ने पिछले साल लिया है और वो कंटिन्यू भी है. उन्होंने 8th 9th 10th स्टैंडर्ड में इंडस्ट्रियसनेस और एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप विकसित करने के लिए बच्चों को एनकरेज किया है. कुछ फाइनेंसेस भी उन्होंने वहां दिए थे. डेवलप्ड कंट्रीज में इंडस्ट्रियसनेस स्कूलिंग पीरियड में बच्चों को पर्पसफुली पढ़ाया जाता है. अगर आपको ये और अच्छे से समझना है जो मैं कह रहा हूं तो आप ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ यूएस एजुकेशन सिस्टम गूगल में डालिएगा और ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ इंडियन एजुकेशन सिस्टम गूगल में डालिएगा. जो ऑब्जेक्टिव आएंगे उसको पढ़िएगा. जो मैं कह रहा हूं उसका अंतर आपको समझ में आ जाएगा. ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ यूएस एजुकेशन सिस्टम में एक लाइन है, हम बच्चों को स्कूल में वो सिखाना चाहते हैं ताकि भविष्य में हमारे बच्चे दुनिया को कुछ दे सके. परिणाम हमारे सामने है. गूगल हो, एप्पल हो, फेसबुक हो, व्हाट्सएप हो, कई प्रकार की टेक्नोलॉजी यूएस में ही निर्माण हुई और हम उसका यूज कर रहे हैं. ऐसा नहीं कि वो हमसे ज्यादा इंटेलिजेंट है, बल्कि हमारे यहाँ का इंटेलिजेंट पॉपुलेशन उनके देश में जाके उस रिसर्च को वो मदद करता है और यह रिसर्च करने के बाद चूंकि उनका इंडस्ट्रियसनेस, उनका कॉम्पिटेंस लेवल दुनिया के सभी लोगों से अच्छा है, वो नए चीजों का निर्माण कर सकते हैं. और इसका कारण, इसका रहस्य उनके एजुकेशन सिस्टम में है. अगर आप में से कोई टीचर है तो जरूर इस बात को देखें, ऑब्जेक्टिव्स ऑफ यूएस एजुकेशन सिस्टम एंड ऑब्जेक्टिव्स ऑफ न्यू एजुकेशन सिस्टम, एनपीसी, एनएसी, न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी 2020. न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी 2020 का ऑब्जेक्टिव है कि 2030 साल तक 50% लोगों को लिटरेट करना. तो कैसा विश्व गुरु बनेगा हमारा देश. मेरे को अक्सर जब जब हमारे देश को विश्व गुरु बनाने की बात हमारे पीएम कहते हैं तो मेरे मन में ये सवाल आता है, कैसा पॉसिबल होगा ये अगर हमारे ऑब्जेक्टिव ही फेवरेबल नहीं. बट एनीवे, वो उनकी बात करते हैं, हम अपनी बात करेंगे. आगे में चलते हैं हम लोग. एडोलसेंस एज 12 से 19, 12 to 19. दिस इज अ पीरियड ऑफ आइडेंटिटी फॉर्मेशन. ये बहुत क्रिटिकल पीरियड होता है आइडेंटिटी फॉर्मेशन का. अभी आपको पढ़ाने के पहले ही मैं एक आइडेंटिटी क्राइसिस का केस हैंडल कर रहा था. माँ बाप मुझसे सलाह लेने आए थे कि हमारा बच्चा हमारी अब बिल्कुल सुनता नहीं है, वो हमारे ऊपर सवाल उठा रहा है. हमने जस्ट एक बात हमारे बच्चे को बोली कि बेटा तू पढ़ाई कर, तू क्यों मोबाइल देखता है, बेटा पढ़ाई करना, हमने तेरे को क्लासेस लगा दिए. तू अभी 10th स्टैंडर्ड में जस्ट गया है, तो क्यों ना तू 1 साल के लिए अपने पढ़ाई पे ध्यान रखता है। 10वीं करियर के लिए टर्निंग पॉइंट होता है। ये बात जब बार बार उस लड़के को बोली गई तो उसने एक दिन जवाब दे दिया माँ बाप को कि देखो देखो बोले पापा, आपको बहुत ऐसा लग रहा है ना कि तुम बहुत ज्यादा पैसा मेरे ऊपर खर्चा कर रहे हो, तो एक काम करो पापा, बोले मैं मर जाता हूं, आप मेरे ऑर्गन्स, मेरे मरने के बाद में मेरे ऑर्गन्स को बेच देना और पैसे ले लेना ताकि तुम्हारी पूरी वसूली हो जाए। और ये बात सुनकर माँ बाप के होश उड़ गए। तो सीधे एक फ्रेंड्स के पास गए, उन्होंने डिस्कस किया। वो हमारा इग्नू का स्टूडेंट ही है, जिस फ्रेंड के पास वो गए वो तुरंत मेरे पास लेके आया। बोले सर, ये केस को थोड़ा सा आप बताइए। मैंने माँ बाप को समझाया कि ये आइडेंटिटी क्राइसिस का इशू है। आइडेंटिटी क्राइसिस का कारण ही कंफ्यूजन होता है और अविश्वास होता है, इनफाइडेलिटी। और आइडेंटिटी फॉर्मेशन का कारण जो है वो बिलीफ सिस्टम और ट्रस्ट स्ट्रांग होने का ये है। यानी पर्टिकुलरली 12 से 19 साल का जो पीरियड है वो एडोलसेंस एज का पीरियड होता है। इन दिस एज every small actions are important, particularly when a boy or girl starts forming their own opinion about themselves. It should be allowed. The parents should not impose their opinion on the boys or girls, particularly at this age. They should be allowed to move on with their opinion. They should be allowed to take risk. They should be allowed to identify the boy or the girl on his or her own. What type of dress he wants to choose. The parent should not impose. The boy or the girl should be given the freedom. Which education he should enter, parent should not impose. Which game the boy should play. Nowadays, I have seen that all India one fad is there. Every parent wants their kids to become a Sunil Gavaskar or Sachin Tendulkar. They spend huge money. मसल में पावर नहीं है और बच्चे के हाथ में वो बैट पकड़ा देते हैं जो बैट को उठा के जोर से बॉल को मारना भी वो बच्चे को नहीं आता, और उसको फिर डांटते रहते हैं, इतने पैसे तेरे पर खर्चा किए, तू एक चौका नहीं मार पाया या एक बॉल पे आउट हो गया, पैसे तेरे पे खर्चा किए, अरे वहां खेलना तो था कम से कम 10-12 बॉल, पहले ही बॉल में आउट होके वापस आ गया। एक्चुअली ऐसा करके माँ बाप बच्चों के मन में कंफ्यूजन पैदा करते हैं, इनफाइडेलिटी को जन्म देते हैं। ओल्ड एज में ऐसे बच्चों के साथ में बहुत समस्या होती है। उनको सेंस ऑफ कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी ऑफ लाइफ नहीं समझता अगर कंफ्यूजन और इनफाइडेलिटी बढ़ गई तो। लॉजिकल और एस्थेटिक परसेप्शन उनका गलत होता है। अभी ये जो बच्चे ने अपने माँ बाप को जो जवाब दिया वो इलॉजिकल है, इरेशनल है, डिल्यूसिव है। ऐसा जवाब नहीं देना चाहिए 15 साल के बच्चे ने। बट ये सब उसके माइंड में कंफ्यूजन पैदा करने की वजह से हुआ है। और ऐसे कम से कम 4 से 5% बच्चे आइडेंटिटी क्राइसिस का शिकार हो जाते हैं। आप आइडेंटिटी क्राइसिस को थोड़ा अपने किताब में और डिटेल में पढ़ेंगे तो ज्यादा अच्छा रहेगा, या आइडेंटिटी क्राइसिस को लेके मेरा वीडियो भी अवेलेबल है, आप वो वीडियो को सुन सकते हैं। Then early adulthood 20 to 25, intimacy versus isolation. Here, the love is the character, love is the virtue which is developed in the mind. Actually, within these 5 stages, if development is normal, then the level of intimacy boy will develop with the opposite gender will be of lovely relationship. The boy will develop the lovely relationship with the family members. The boy will develop the lovely relationship with the peers. The boy will develop the lovely relationship with the teachers. Means boy or girl, they can develop lovely relationship with any person of any age if the conflicts in their minds are properly resolved. If the challenges faced during this age are properly resolved. But this age is particularly more important for lovely relationship between opposite gender. And if that kind of relationship is well established, then we have many rituals like marriage and all that is further performed. Some become successful, some becomes fail. A very few becomes fail. Then adulthood, 26 to 64 years of period. In lifespan, we study this period into early adulthood, middle adulthood, and late adulthood, and aging also. After 64, it is aging also. Now, generativity versus stagnation. Now, generativity का मतलब ये होता है कि person, whatever he earn in the form of knowledge, money, property, capital, relationship, respect, power, these are all items of earning. Earning सिर्फ पैसे की नहीं होती. Earning हमारे सोसाइटी में बहुत अलग अलग तरीके से हम करते हैं. We earn money, that is one part. We earn respect, second part. We earn power, we become authority, third part. We establish very good relationship, social relationship, fourth part. This way, there are many types of earning we earn in lifetime, means around 25 to 60. If this is appropriately generalized by the person, and if it is passed on to the next generation appropriately, whatever is earned has to be passed on to the next generation properly. The person is considered as caretaker. The care is the virtue of his mind. The care is the virtue of his mindset. The care is the part of his personality. In our old age, these words are Roman words. You find out the meaning of it. Basically, their nature becomes caring, empathetic, and concern for others. Empathy itself means concern for others and ourselves. So they are more concerned about themselves as well as society. They are more concerned about themselves as well as family. They are more concerned about themselves as well as nation. So that is a care, virtue sets in the mind. If not, if the generativity stage is not attended properly, stagnation will occur, and stagnation can be easily observed by all of you. At the age of 40, 45, some person, particularly government employee, some government employee, I'm not talking about all, normally says, क्या है जिंदगी में 40-50 साल 15-20 साल की सर्विस हो गई है और 10-15 साल की सर्विस बाकी है, 60 साल में रिटायर हो जाएंगे, इन द मीन टाइम एक घर बना लेंगे, बच्चों की शादी हो जाएगी, फिर आराम से पेंशन पर सारी जिंदगी जीते रहेंगे, गवर्नमेंट पैसा देते रहेगी, हम खाना खाते रहेंगे. स्टैग्नेशन है. कुछ पाने की उम्मीद भी नहीं है और कुछ खोने का डर भी नहीं है. कुछ करने की इच्छा भी नहीं है, खुद के लिए भी नहीं, क्योंकि गवर्नमेंट ने गवर्नमेंट की नौकरी देके वो काम कर दिया, अब आगे में उसको खुद के लिए कुछ नहीं करना, और सोसाइटी के लिए तो बिल्कुल ही करना नहीं. दैट इज स्टैग्नेशन. मैं चाहता हूं कि ऐसा स्टैग्नेशन किसी के लाइफ में ना आए. बट जनरेटिविटी इज द पॉजिटिव कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स and that develops in the 26 to 64. Then in an old age, I have already discussed, there are two things. One is aging and one is late adulthood. So late adulthood, late adulthood के दो हिस्से होते हैं. One is aging and second is disparity in late adulthood. So the person who faces integrity, that is integrity. The person who faces the aging phenomena means physically, psychologically, mentally, socially, and emotionally, person becomes weaker and weaker. He goes through the stage of despair, and even after the age of 65, the person who is physically fit, mentally fit, psychologically fit, and he thinks of giving whatever he has earned to the society. It's not only money, it's a knowledge also, it's a reputation also, it's a skill also. So जब हम बोलते किसी को कुछ देना है तो money is secondary. Of course money is important, but it is secondary. The primary functions are which has to be transferred from one generation to another generation. That is knowledge, that is respect, that is honesty, that is power. ये बात अलग है कि power is transformed from one family member, elder family member to junior family member. वैसा भी नहीं होना चाहिए. The power to be transferred to the right person who deserve to be a perfect candidate to acquire the power and use the power later on. So that is a stage of integrity and despair.